Okay, Michaela, I've been thinking long and hard about this. So you're a mum, right? Mm-hmm. You've got some kids, obviously.
Yes.
What's the most embarrassing moment that you've ever had in public thanks to your kids?
I'm thinking. It wasn't in public, so it may not count, but...
Well, it's about to be.
Well, I was on a really important call one day for work, and my son peed on my leg while I was on the call, and I could say nothing and do nothing, and he just peed on me, and I just had to suck it up.
You just sat there and endured the warmth.
Yes. So, you
Nice.
know, my boy, I've got 3 boys, and they never use a toilet, so I'm always turned around somewhere in public there, weeing. That's pretty
Did they get that from their dad or what?
Yes, and I kept saying, don't teach them that. And even today when I was leaving, one of them was at the letterbox urinating. So I've raised quality boys.
Nice.
Welcome to the Tradies Business Show, helping you get off the tools and into true business ownership so you can spend more time doing the things that matter most. Now, here are your hosts, Warwick Bidwell and Michaela Clark.
And welcome to another episode of the Tradies Business Show. I hope you've been to the loo before you listen to this one after that.
Don't be pulling over your ute at the side of the road and going.
Yeah, no cocking your leg on anybody's letterbox. So
we're all class here at the Tradies Business Show.
Yeah. Let's get back above the belly button. Anyway, we've got another great interview. We've had a run of great interviews, haven't we?
Well,
Not that I
hope
think
so.
we've ever had a bad interview on the show, but
No, we're just going to deliver you rubbish, listeners.
yeah. Well, it is free. But today's guest, I actually didn't know what to expect from John. I'll be honest. Websites like. I don't know.
What do you mean? It's exciting.
I know you get excited about this stuff, Michaela. But I tell you what, after talking to John and looking at his websites and everything, I really do have design envy. I never thought I'd say it.
Yeah, we do. We got bad, so we just got to, get lots of members joining our membership site so we can get ours done.
You're going to help us improve our site by joining the membership site. But no, John from FivebyFive Media. Or 5x5 website design. I don't know what he's...
Yeah, 5x5 website design.
Oh, there you go.
Yep.
Sorry, John. So he designs websites, funnily enough. Some great tips in here about, I guess, getting a return on investment from your website, because that's what it should be doing, is actually getting business for you. It's not just a thing that you kind of have to have, like a business card.
Yeah, and like I bang on all the time, if you were a shopkeeper, you wouldn't have updated your shop window in 2 and 3 years and just spent $5 on it. So your websites are your shop front. They're so critical. It's like you wouldn't have bad signage on your utes that you drive around. I don't understand why people don't invest good money in a good website. That's what people are finding you for. I just don't get it, Warwick.
I know you don't understand it.
I think I need a rant on that one.
Yeah, I think you should. You need to let off a bit of steam about that one. But it does baffle a lot of people, and I think not understanding something really does paralyse people into taking action. So John certainly cuts through all of it today, and there's some great actionable tips in this interview as well that you can go away and actually put into place in your own website straight away.
And also, if you're a Tradies Business Toolkit.com member, he also shares a secret tip as well in the membership site about something that I don't think, I'd be surprised if even one good tradie website would have, but geez, it would make a difference to your leads and your sales conversations. So if you want to get that, we'll tell you at the end of the show how to sign up.
Great stuff. Let's get into it.
So today we'd like to welcome John Hollenberg from 5x5 Website Design and author of the new book Love at First Sight. Oh, I just love that name of that book.
Yeah, nice title. Welcome to the show, John.
Thank you for having me, guys.
Yeah, so firstly, we like to ask our guests, are you a DIYer or you get the trade professionals in?
I like to dabble, but then the second I start dabbling, I realise that I'm way out of my depth and that I should leave it to the experts. So that's very much my philosophy. So yeah, I guess, you know, it's like anything in life. My focus is much better off spent doing stuff that I'm good at and that I enjoy, and that's, you know, really around the online stuff. So that's where my passion is, and I leave the other stuff like any sort of plumbing or stuff around the house that I need help with to the experts. I'm happy for them to do that.
Great. And so tell us a little bit about yourself and your company and what you do.
Yeah, sure. So I have been building websites for over 17 years. Started out in my bedroom at the age of 16 in my board shorts, dabbling around with websites, and sort of fast forward 17 years on, and we've built a bunch of sites over the years, 1,000 plus. I was doing the numbers on it. Worked with iconic brands such as Qantas, Jeep, Currumbin Wildlife Sanctuary, plus hundreds of other sort of smaller style businesses, professional services, tradies, you name it. We've seen it all. So that's what we do day in, day out.
So after thousands of websites, and I guess this is going to be a big question, but what do you think is the biggest mistake people make with their website design? And you can pick more than one, but try for one.
Biggest mistake? Oh, look, there's so many of them out there, but if I had to summarize them, I'd hone them down to three major problems. And the first being that usually there's not enough emphasis on the actual look and feel of the site. So it doesn't look great, it looks horrible. Secondly, there's probably not enough quality content. So it's very thin on in terms of, you know, substance around explaining what the business does and how it goes about doing that. And thirdly, it's really just not designed for conversion. So that's the end goal of a website, really, is to generate leads and inquiries, and there's not enough emphasis put on the conversion side of things. So, you know, actually getting someone to raise their hand, whether it's fill out an email form or pick up the phone and get in touch. So they're the three main things that I see day in, day out.
So with conversion, because that, you know, it is one of the main goals, what do you think needs to be on every good website to help increase engagement and conversion?
Oh, look, I think number one thing is really being explicit about what you want an end user to do when they come through to the website. So actually, you know, physically writing that down and say, well, what do I actually want someone to do? Whether it's pick up the phone, do I want them to fill out an email form? Do I want them to subscribe to my newsletter? Do I want them to consume some content? Do I want them to interact with, say, social media or something like that? And then it's really about, you know, working on those key things and saying, well, is there friction? Are there inhibitors in place for someone to actually do that? So a really simple thing, and it seems like a no-brainer, is, you know, for a tradie, have their mobile phone top right-hand corner of every single page, so that regardless of what page they come in on, someone can get in touch and pick up the phone.
Such simple things, and I don't know if I can speak for our listeners, but, you know, I look at some of the brands you've worked with, John, and there's the big end of town there. Mm-hmm. I suspect what some people might think is that, yeah, well, those companies, well, first of all, they've got the budget to spend big on design and getting all that stuff right, but they also have these really powerful brands that have a presence, and they've sort of done all that work on establishing a market position. How does that translate for a smaller business, you know, for a plumbing business or a building business?
Sure. Look, from a design perspective, it really is it is the ultimate differentiator. You look at products like, say, you know, an Apple phone, which is more often than not sold at a premium in the marketplace compared to, you know, a Samsung or a HTC or something like that. And because there's this tremendous desire and this lure, and everything they do is, it looks great and sexy, and, you know, it's got all the marketing to back it up. So there's no reason why a plumber or a Sparky or, you know, any sort of tradie out there can't use that same approach or that technique, that, you know, that simplicity to really stoke that customer desire and differentiate themselves from their competition out there, because you can be pretty sure that not a lot of people are taking the time and the effort to focus on this sort of stuff. So certainly with a website, you're looking at this is the first impression that someone gets with your brand. So they've gone to Google and they've, say, typed in plumber, Mornington Peninsula, and this is the first interaction with a business, and it better be a good one. Otherwise, you're setting that tone for the rest of the relationship. Whether you're going to show up on time and whether you're going to look neat and tidy and whether you're going to do a good job. So that's really where that conversation starts. And
so, in terms of, and I'll raise the grim reaper of budget when it comes to building a website and getting all that together. But I suppose, it's another thing, and I hear this from my clients and from listeners on the show as well, is it's like, well, I can't afford to spend 20 grand on this fantastic website that just ticks all of the boxes. If people do have, I suppose, a list of priorities, or they're constrained in any way, are there some considerations that they should pay attention to before other things? I mean, is there a hierarchy of elements that do need to be in a great website versus others that are probably the nice to haves versus the must haves?
Yeah. Look, there's a big long list in terms of inclusions that you can have on a site, but I think as a really good central starting point, you want to be set up on a good platform, and we design and develop exclusively in a platform called WordPress. So WordPress actually started life as a blogging platform and has really evolved to a full-blown what we call content management system. So it's really the underlying software that's driving your website. So from a business owner's perspective, it makes it nice and easy for someone to jump in the back end and say add a new blog post or update a phone number on the contact page and do all that sort of stuff. So I think having a really good, solid platform as that central piece is certainly the starting point. And look, I can go into a lot more detail around, the site needs to be mobile friendly. Obviously for your tradie audience, it really needs to make sure that it responds and it looks great on all your different devices. Would you like me to go in a bit more detail around sort of mobile friendliness?
Yeah, definitely, because I know it's Google's paying a lot more attention to that, and I think there's a little bit of confusion out there about what actually is a mobile responsive website. So, just let our listeners know what that is and how they can find out if their site is mobile friendly or not.
Yeah, sure. So we use an approach, it's called responsive design. And basically what that means is you've got a skin that's sitting on the top of your WordPress website, and that skin basically knows the device that is accessing the website, whether it's a big desktop computer, a laptop, an iPad, an iPhone, an Android device. And essentially what it does is it adapts that skin or that interface based on the available screen real estate that is there. So obviously a phone screen is a lot narrower, and essentially it just grabs that interface and cascades the page, creates a big long version of your site, so it's nice and easy for someone to flick through and scroll through. So the end result for the user is a very good mobile experience, one that's easy to use. There's big fat buttons, and if you click on or you tap on a phone number, then it automatically calls that phone number, and there's nice navigation, and it means you don't have to pinch and zoom and strain your eyes and do all that sort of hard stuff. So that's certainly the approach that Google recommends. And as of the end of April 21st, 2015, they're making a change to their algorithm. So basically what that means is they will favour websites that offer a good mobile responsive experience over websites that don't take the time and the effort to offer a good mobile experience, if that makes sense.
Yep. So putting it simply, listeners, make sure you've got a mobile responsive website, because you're going to get hurt in search results after the 21st of April.
Exactly. Yeah. And you can imagine that, you know, a lot of your listeners, they're out on the road, they're doing these searches on their phone. This is where traffic is derived from, and it is super duper important to make sure that experience is a good one.
And is there a way, John, for listeners to go and check to see if their website is? Because a lot of business owners don't actually know. They've probably relied on a designer, or maybe their sister-in-law has put the website together for them, and they wouldn't actually know how to figure out if it's mobile responsive.
Yeah, exactly. Google actually provide a tool called, all you need to do is go to Google and type in Google Mobile Friendly Test, and first result will be a little tool that you can put in your web address in, and it'll actually give you a response saying, yes, your site's mobile friendly, or no, you know, you've got some work to do.
Great. So listeners, make sure you go check that out, and if you need to get it updated, it really is important that you do spend some money and get that updated, so you are not missing out on some search results. So one thing that we find with trade websites is there's certain elements of things that they really need to have on to be successful websites that generate leads and provide a great customer experience. And some of those things are, like you said before, having the mobile number at the top of the website. There's things like, you know, having photos of the teams and things like that. So what do you see as some key design and content things that should be on a website for a trade-based business?
Sure, Michaela. Yeah, look, the website must-haves that we're rolling out on all our projects are, like you said, phone number, top right-hand corner of the page. There needs to be a little underlying link on that, so usually your web developer will take care of that. So if you are on a mobile device, that it actually calls the number. Other things like, this may seem like a real no-brainer, but having a really clear headline. So if someone comes through to your website, you want to actually make it really clear as to what you do and how you go about doing that. So if you check out our site, we build great-looking, high-performing websites using WordPress, and that's a big, fat headline that's front and center. So when someone lands there, they know exactly what, you know, they're in the right place. Another really powerful technique is video. So I think, you know, on your show, you've spoken a lot around video, and we're big advocates of having some sort of, we do this in a lot of projects, so we call it almost like a little documentary video, and there's a little bit more effort required here, but it is such a powerful tool. It's usually around 2 minutes in length, and we call this your why video. Why do you get out of bed every day and do what you do? And it's done in a very sort of storytelling manner, and it really allows people to have that connection with an individual. They can look the end business owner in the eye and see whether they know them, they like them, they trust them, see whether they're full of crap, or, you know, they get some sort of connection. And we've seen the end result is that when someone does pick up the phone and get in touch, it's actually a lot more, it's a warmer sales conversation, because there's already that contact that's been made. So that is also just a super duper powerful sales technique. We like to include a lot of testimonials, and same deal. If they can be video ones, even better. So people buy from people. So, you know, if you can see someone else who's had a positive experience with a potential, you know, business or whatever, then it's, you know, it's a good thing to have. Other things that we include are we try and, you know, communicate proof and build trust through logos. So say a tradie's got some sort of guarantee, and it might be a 24-hour turnaround guarantee that, you know, we'll turn around your job in 24 hours, otherwise, you know, you don't pay for it or whatever. So having these logos or these trust seals or guarantees built in to that is also just another good way of building that trust.
And one thing I find with trade-based websites, like a lot of the trades need to give guarantees, a 7-year guarantee and things like that. And they have to do it anyway, but they don't actually promote the fact. So the general public don't understand that they need to give a warranty, but they don't promote that either. So I think that's something that's often really missing on sites as well.
Exactly. Yeah.
And another big thing I find that I don't like when I go to a website is if there's no photos, where it's all just content and there's nothing personal. So video is one element, but also having some high quality images of the owners and the team and the staff makes such a difference. And we do have an episode coming up on images and the importance of them. But that's another big element of a lot of sites I see that just miss out on that opportunity.
Yeah, photography can make or break a site. And, say if you're getting a good quality handcrafted site built, you're going to make a good investment there. So you should really be investing in a decent photographer to come out on site and do some photo shoots of the team, and you actually out on site fixing issues or solving problems for your clients. And it's a tremendous resource that you can use in all your marketing. So it's a very worthy investment.
So, John, are there any no-nos? Like, we talked about all the things that you should have in a site and some of the positive aspects, but are there some things that either you see or that people do where you look at it and you cringe? It's like, oh, don't do that.
Probably a big one is making sure. So when we look at an online strategy, we look at the hub and spoke model. So what that means is your website sits in the center, and that's the hub. That's where all your traffic should end up at the end of the day. And what we see a lot of people doing is building up other platforms like a Facebook, like a LinkedIn or a Twitter or something like that, that is external to their platform. So what I mean by this is you want to control the content. So the content ultimately should reside on your website, but these other medias like social media or email marketing or whatever, they're just traffic channels at the end of the day. They're a way of funneling people back into the website. So, this may seem a little bit controversial, but I'm a big advocate of making sure that all your content resides on your site, not someone else's platform like a Facebook or a Google+. It still can be shared there, definitely, but at the end of the day, the link should go back to your site, which is where you want the end user to end up. Because the issue there is, say, for whatever reason, Facebook fades into obscurity in the next 2 to 3 years, and a business has spent 2 or 3 years putting up content on that platform, then you've lost all that hard work. You don't have that asset anymore. So it's really about controlling your asset.
And there's actually been, there's been some examples, some high-profile examples just in the last 6 months where Facebook are making a lot of these changes to their algorithm, and it's getting harder for businesses to get reach or engagement.
Exactly. Yep.
And there's been businesses fold because their whole strategy was based around Facebook.
Yeah, same deal with Google+. So Google Plus is Google's social network, and they're breaking that up into pieces now, and that's sort of fading away. So it's just a really timely lesson to make sure that all your content is on your site. And sure, still utilize these tools, but only as a way of driving traffic back to your asset.
And so I guess that brings up the question of the importance of content and updating your website so that you are driving traffic there. And, Google also likes it when you've got an updated and relevant website. So,
big time.
Yeah. So talk about the importance that content, often referred to as content marketing, but what's the importance of that in an online world now?
Sure. Look, at the end of the day, content, Google want to see a good quality user experience. And that's largely driven by different factors like mobile friendliness, say the load time of your website. If someone visits your site, how long does it actually take to load on their screen? But the big thing is content. Is there something of value for the end user there? Are you solving a problem for the end user? So if you don't have that content, if it's a really thin website, if it's like 2 or 3 pages and some dot points about your services, it's just not good enough. There needs to be an active blog that's going really deep and specific about questions that your customers are asking, about challenges that they're facing. So for the average tradie, they're getting asked questions day in, day out about their products or their services. So, I just tell our customers to keep a little pen and paper in your pocket. Every time someone asks you a question, write it down and then go away and then answer that either as a YouTube video or whatever that's posted on your site, or a blog post, or some sort of instructional step-by-step how-to guide to doing something, and answer that on your website. So it's a very leveraged way of doing it, because you create the content once, and that content is there. It's on your site for years and years to come. So it can potentially drive traffic for a long time to come. It's what we call evergreen content. So for a little bit of work up front, it has a tremendous impact. And I see the big challenge that people have are, obviously they're time poor and they don't take the time and the effort to do this. But businesses that actually do that, and they do it consistently over time, it just snowballs. We've been working with an architect down in Melbourne, and for a year he consistently added a blog post to his website once a week, and he was answering all sorts of different questions. So 10 questions to ask an architect on your first meeting, and what's the difference between a draftsman and an architect, and all these really valuable information. If you were spending some big money on a redesign of your California bungalow, you'd be researching this stuff in a great amount of detail to select a good architect to work with. And he generates an absolute truckload of traffic through his website. And he's just a one-man show, and all he needs is 3 or 4 good projects a year, and he's making some good money. So that's just a really simple example about how someone who's taken the time and the effort to create good quality content has really sort of reaped those rewards.
And it's something, about being consistent with that content as well. I see
definitely
some businesses, they try it for 1 or 2 weeks or a month and go, it didn't really make any difference. It's a long-term strategy.
Yep.
But boy, can it pay off if you've, like that, done it for over a year. You're consistently updating it every month or a week. It really can make a big difference. And I always say now, with things like smartphones and things like that, it's not as hard as it used to be. And I know WordPress is a really easy platform for anyone to learn and use. So there's really no excuses anymore that you can't keep your website up to date and have a blog and have some videos, because all the tools are so easy and accessible and free for you to use. And if you don't want to do it, there's people that will do it for you as well, write articles and things like that.
Exactly, yeah. So with videos, record a video and then you just transcribe it. So what that means is typing out the text from that video. Google will absolutely love it because they've got a page that's got some video content. Video is very revered in the eyes of Google because there's just a slightly higher barrier to entry. And when they see that combined with, say, an image and some text, you're just ticking all the boxes from Google's perspective, and they will rank that page.
It's I'm listening to you say all this stuff, John. It's like, can I just personally bring you along to talk to some of my clients, because I sit there trying to convince mechanics and electricians and everything to get in front of their smartphone and do some little how-to videos or before and afters, or just simple stuff. And it really is just creating that content which really creates credibility in the eyes of the people coming to visit, as does good design and all those sort of elements.
Yeah, and that's another conversion factor. So we talk about these touch points with our prospective customers, and for someone to buy a big ticket product or a consulting service, on average they need about 7 hours or 11 touch points with a potential supplier. So, the more content you can put in front of someone, it's just really building those trust factors, and there's been a tremendous move in terms of sharing. So information is really free now. Google have basically opened the floodgates, and anyone can find, anything. Really, they can figure out how to do anything on YouTube or whatever. So, the company that shares the most information and value, people are still going to use those companies, because at the end of the day, people don't want to do it. I don't want to fix my sink. I'll get a plumber in to do it. But I want to know a little bit about maybe what's wrong with the sink, or what faucet I want, or whatever. So that's the general sort of mindset or approach.
Yeah, it's something that I get feedback on all the time. We say do a how-to video, and then someone might actually do it themselves and not call us. Well, there's a good chance that they might try it and stuff it up, and they're going to call you.
It'll cost them twice as much to fix it.
They just want to trust who they're getting to come into their house. Yes. So it's not like you're going to lose business. It's a wrong theory, and the ones that are doing it are the ones that are getting more traffic and getting more leads. Yep. So it's really a theory that doesn't really exist, I think.
Exactly.
The world according to Michaela. I love
That's
it.
Right. So one question we love to ask our guests is, if you had 1,000 tradies in a room, what would be the one thing that you'd like to tell them?
Really think hard and invest the time and the effort in getting a decent site. So, I've seen it as a web designer's perspective. This architect is a perfect example. He got a good platform. He spent the time and the effort to brief a website designer really well about what he wanted. He invested in creating good quality content, and 2 or 3 years on, he is just absolutely cleaning up. So really take it seriously. People shop around on price, and we get a lot of calls, how much for a website, and it's the wrong question to be asking. It's really about doing your own research and getting educated around this stuff, and also realizing that if it's done well, and you certainly do get what you pay for with this stuff, then it has tremendous impact and can really reap some good quality rewards there from an investment standpoint.
Great advice, John, and it really comes down to return on investment. You wouldn't invest $20 into a tool and expect it to do a fantastic job for you as a tradie. So your website really is a business tool, and it deserves an investment that reflects what you want to get out of it. So it's great advice, mate.
Spot on.
All right, well, thanks again for coming on the show. If people want to find out more about yourself and FivebyFive, how would they go about doing that, John?
Yeah, easiest thing to do. I've actually got. I've written a book, Love at First Sight. That is available completely free of charge in audio book format. So I've created a bunch of content and I give that away for free. You can get that on our website, www.fivebyfive.com.au.
And we've also snuggled a free copy of the hard copy version of the book. So that's going to be given away to one lucky Tradie Business Toolkit member. So anyone that's a member, thank you for the book, and we'll have that given away in the membership site.
Good
My
stuff.
pleasure.
Well, I certainly have design envy looking at your website, John. And, great to have you on the show, mate. Some awesome advice in there. And look forward to talking again soon.
Thank you for having me, guys.
Thanks.
Cheers.
So some great tips there from John Hollenberg from 5x5 Web Design.
Not 5x5 meeting. So I said at the top. It's awesome stuff in there. It makes me want to go and spend more money on my website, to be honest, because there's so much you could do. And I think the point that he made, though, about look, it is a long list, and there is lots and lots that you could actually do with your website. But there are some critical things and some fundamentals that you should really be getting right these days. And I do agree with Michaela, surprisingly, doesn't happen very often, that your website is basically your shop front in 2015, and you wouldn't have a dirty shop front with broken windows and faded signage and cobwebs everywhere, because you'd be scaring customers away. So you should really have a look at your site, and whether it's somebody local or somebody like John, at least just have a chat to them and see what you can be doing.
And the other thing is too, like Google is looking at newer websites and ones that are mobile responsive. So it's not only about design. It's like your site just ain't going to get found if it's not set up the right way now.
Yep. So make sure you go to Google and just type in Google mobile friendly website. You'll find the link there. It'll be, no doubt, Google will make sure it's the number one that pops up on that search, and you can literally just put in your web address. It'll do a bit of an analysis, and I literally stuck the Tradies Business Show into that little test tool while we were chatting to John, and it popped up and said we had a glowing report and it was amazing, and that everybody should go and visit the site.
Oh, phew. And the other website that you should visit is tradiesbusinesstoolkit.com, which is our membership site, where we have lots of webinars and online video and templates and checklists and all sorts of stuff to help make running your business a little bit easier. And it's just $1 for the first 30 days. So you can go in, have a look around and join our private Facebook community, and we'll probably forget to take you out of there if you don't join.
Don't tell them that. You'll be removed immediately.
Yes. And then what's it cost, Warwick?
It's just $10 a month after that until the end of June 2015. So for foundation members, we want to give you guys a good deal. So jump in there, and for as long as you stay a member, it'll be $10 a month. The price will be going up from July 1st this year to something more appropriate based on the amount of content that's in there.
The price doesn't equal value in this instance. We just need to put it as more than $1 value in there. There's a few $100s, and every month and week we'll be adding something new. And
our mission at the Tradies Business Show, and certainly Tradies Business Toolkit as well, is we want to help as many tradies as possible get off the tools and into true business ownership. And the membership site is a great way for us to do that by giving you lots of extra stuff that you can implement in your business straight away.
And John's also done a bit of an extended interview, which is one of the features of the membership site. So if you want to know a really cool trick to do with your contact forms and helping with your sales conversations and getting more buyers, you've got to check out this tip, and it's definitely worth even $1 just to join, just to find out. And it's something I hadn't thought of, so because I know everything. But
yeah, well, you're a woman. So anyway, go check that out, tradiesbusinesstoolkit.com, and we look forward to sharing some more ninja stuff or something with you in the next episode.
Bye.
Until then, hooray.
You've been listening to the Tradies Business Show with Warwick Bidwell and Michaela Clark. Want to get off the tools and into true business ownership? Find out how at tradiesbusinessshow.com.